Welcome to the Raising the Bar podcast, where we storytell excellence in Queensland property. I'm your host, George Souris from Empire Legal. All right, we're back for another episode of a Raising the Bar podcast, where we storytell excellence in Queensland property. Today we have a special guest, Suzana Wade from Locate Property. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, George. I'm pretty excited.
We're keen to have you. I reckon there's going to be a few little nuggets we're going to pull out of today, all about property management. We're going to be talking about landlords and tenants from both sides of the fence. You've been in real estate for about a decade, right?
Yeah, coming on to 10 years now. Yes.
Not only in the sales space, but also obviously in the property management space. You do both.
Yes, property management, sales, and I was a BDM as well. So, yeah.
So you've done it all.
I've done it all.
Give me 30 seconds on Locate Property. Like, what do you guys do? Where are you located? Who do you service?
Okay, so we're a boutique agency. We only specialise in property management.
Yep.
We're located on Wyndham Road, Tingalpa.
Nice.
The reason why we chose that is because we go from the Broadbeach right up until Burpengary, and then north, south, east and west. So we wanted to be central for everybody.
That's what you guys do. Yeah, and you do sales as well, obviously.
We do sales. We're filtering now into sales because of the demand. A lot of people are requesting myself to sell again because I used to sell a lot.
Yep.
And I just can't do it all anymore, George.
But you got a team.
So we're
behind
branching
you now.
out.
You're growing a team.
We've got about 7 or 8 staff now.
Amazing.
Yeah. Pretty
I
exciting.
think when I first met you, it was just you and Ben.
It was Ben and I, and
maybe a third person.
Yeah, and I was sitting on a milk crate because I had nothing else.
Literally, I remember the upstairs of your office, there was nothing there.
There was
and
nothing.
you're like, there's going to be a desk here and a desk here.
Yeah, I
and
started off with a milk crate, and then I got upgraded to a step ladder and a $150 IKEA desk.
There you go.
Yes, that's all I had.
We started on 2 Kmart desks
Yes.
in a spare bedroom in Wyndham West. So,
hard work and dedication and passion for your work.
Yeah, you have to really care about what you do.
Yeah.
So, look, let's just jump right into it. I've got a little cheat sheet here.
Okay.
So, my first question for you is, how have you grown Locate Property to have such a large rent roll in such a short amount of time?
Okay, the answer is honesty, dedication, passion, and actually enjoying what you do and looking at every property as it's your own and being transparent with my landlords.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I can speak from a personal experience. When I moved out of my house and I needed it rented, I didn't call anyone else. Yeah. And that's hand on heart, the truth. I just rung you and said, hey,
thank you.
I want you to do it.
Yeah.
And that's because I trust you. Right.
I
think that
trust.
T word, trust, is just so important in our industry. It's a small industry as well, right? Everyone knows everyone, from your conveyancers to your brokers to your agents. We're all pretty intertwined.
Yeah.
And I just knew, for me, I trusted that you would be able to get me the most amount for my house and look after my property. Because it's not just about how much money you can get the landlord.
Correct.
It's about looking after that property, which we'll unpack that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But would you say it's word of mouth?
Word of
Because
mouth.
you've exploded.
So,
I remember you were in magazines a couple of years ago, fastest growing.
So I started off with only the 2 of us. So I did my leasing, I did the applications, I did the BDM work. I did everything basically because you can't afford staff at the beginning.
Of course, and staff are expensive, right? You think about Australia and wages.
100%.
That's a very expensive piece of the puzzle.
Definitely.
Same with us. We've got lawyers and a legal team. It's not cheap for good talent.
Yeah. So I did everything from the start at the beginning, and I still to this day, as the principal and owner, do my open homes. I want to know, I want to pre-qualify my tenants. I want to get to know them. I want to see who I'm putting in this property.
Yes.
Those days are gone where you just look at an application and think, yep, this is perfect.
Yep.
If that's how you're running a business, well, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, you actually are boots on the ground, eyes on the person.
Correct.
Like, even I remember when we were releasing my place out, we had a few different people through, and you'd give me a call after the inspection and say, hey, this person's offering this much, but they're a bit iffy. I like the other guy better, and here's why.
Yeah.
They're coming from the principal. I think that's a pretty unique proposition in the rental space, right? You see sellers agents that are sort of front and center all the time, but in the rental space looking after landlords, I don't really see it as prevalent. I know the burnout rate for property management is insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Isn't it, really?
It is. There's a lot of burnout because a lot of principals, a lot of owners are expecting property managers to look after an excess of 150 to 200 properties per property manager. There's no way you can do that. You can't.
200 properties per rental manager.
Them. Yeah, sometimes they've got an assistant, but they don't. There's no way you can.
That's
you can
an insane
service
amount
that.
of volume.
Oh, it's crazy.
So it's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic.
You can't do your routines,
No,
and
you
can't.
can't.
Yeah, you can't
No.
even keep on top of if there's maintenance stuff, right?
And this is why a lot of the problems that landlords are getting is there's no communication. Okay.
Yes.
So we have got a rule in the office, no matter if you can't talk to them or return their email, just send them a text or something.
Yep.
Just that you've acknowledged that you have made communication with them.
But I'm heard.
Yeah, you're
just
heard.
open a line of
Because
communication
this is
somehow.
what all landlords want, is they want to be heard.
Yep.
They don't want someone to just take their management fee every week.
Yeah, and go,
And
what am
that's
I
what the
even
problem-
paying for?
that's what I'm
if
getting
you're
every
talking as a
single week.
landlord, it's like, what am I even paying for to hear from anyone?
Honestly, George, I'd have to say the last 6 months, most of my business is takeovers from other agencies.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that in particular.
100%.
Because I see that as huge opportunity for good property managers out there.
Yep.
Because there's so many that are just not doing it well and no genuine care
Correct, yeah.
for the people that they're representing.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I've heard stories, we've been chatting about, you go to properties that have been bloody trashed, you've done takeovers and you are in disbelief as to what you're seeing.
I send you photos sometimes because obviously you're our conveyancer as well. And I just cannot believe that a lot of my owners don't even know what's happening in their properties. I've just had one $40,000, $50,000 in damages that was with another agency. How does that happen? And this is where
That's what you're paying for, is that peace of mind
That's
that the
right.
company
And there was no
representing
pool
you.
compliance certificate. Like, seriously?
Yeah, huge risk. Imagine
Yeah,
if something happened in
massive.
that pool, that's big problems.
Huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I can go on with all the stories I can tell you.
Do you find, I'm just trying to add value for whoever may be listening to this
Hmm.
right now, right? We're talking about your growth. From me as an outsider, I just see it as a word of mouth thing. Like, I know I've sent people to you, family, friends of mine, because I genuinely believe you'll do the best job for them.
Thank you.
Is that how you'd say most of your business has grown? Is it just organic word of mouth?
It's organic word of mouth, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting a
like
lot
you're
of
not doing
referrals.
crazy marketing or
We've
anything
done
like
nothing.
that. Like,
We don't even have social media.
yeah. I was going to
got
say you're
nothing.
pretty like almost off the grid. Hey,
We're off the
like,
grid.
yeah,
It's all
but it's all
we're
word of
old
mouth
school.
going. You've got to call Suzana, and
yeah.
it's cool because they talk to you, and you and your team sort them out.
And I think another thing as well, when I get to know my landlords, when they call me, I actually give them my private number. So if there's any problems at all, they can call me directly.
Yeah.
And I will be in communication with them as the owner.
Yes, okay.
That's
pretty
how much
unique.
I back my staff, that we've got everything running basically like a drive-through, McDonald's drive-through.
There's a
Everyone's
system.
got there's
Yeah.
a system.
Yeah.
And if there's cracks in that system, that's when the landlord will call me. And that's I'm really grateful that they give that opportunity to call me.
Yes.
And that's why I give out my personal number.
Yeah.
Because I back them and we've got a system.
Okay. The word of mouth is the way that the business is growing. Let's dig a bit deeper. Why word of mouth? What do you think you're doing when you look at, say, the rest of the industry where property management may be even struggling or they're losing business and you're gaining business? Why word of mouth? Is it the service? Is it something special you're doing? Why are they saying, call Suzana? I think I know because I'm a real client of yours, but I'm just curious as to your take on it.
Okay. Honestly, I'm all over the business. I'm actually on the ground working. I'm not sitting in my office, not saying that everyone is. However, I'm hardly in my office.
Yeah.
I'm on the
You're
ground.
out.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm talking to them. I'm having a look at their properties. I'm telling what they need to fix. And even if they're with other agencies, which I'm getting a lot of calls now to fix the problem with the other agency before they come on to me. What they've got to fix.
Adding value.
Value.
You're not even getting
I'm
money at this point.
genuine.
You're like,
I'm not
hey,
even getting
you
value.
need to sort this out, and I'm
Correct.
doing that because I want you to succeed.
Yeah. And I want them to be happy because
Yeah.
so many landlords, they're lost. And it saddens me that there's no transparency there.
Do you think it's because I think your unique pitch is the fact that you're a principal that's boots on the ground?
Yeah.
I know that a lot of property managers, they might be trying to get into real estate. They maybe want to be a sales agent down the track, and the pathway is you're going to go and do rentals for a while. And, traditionally they might be like, younger people just finish school, whatever. Obviously they're still green and they're learning. And I know a lot of them burn out and don't stay in the industry. Is that part of the secret sauce? It's the fact that they're getting you, right? And you've been doing it for a long time and you're all over it and it's your business. No one's going to care more than you to get a good result
Correct.
for these people.
And the thing is, they say, if you love what you do, you're not actually working.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love the chase. I love getting top dollar for my landlords. I love getting the property. It's a recipe. Okay, it's like baking a cake. You've got to have all the right ingredients for it to rise. And I've always said that in business.
How'd you get the recipe? Did you just evolve it over time when there was a mistake? Because obviously you've got this well-oiled machine now.
Yeah, experience, knowledge, And yes, you do make mistakes.
Of course.
But you learn from that mistake and you think, okay, how can I do this better? And we're still learning. Every day we're learning. Like we do, okay, there's one thing that it's imperative in my business, personal development.
Yep.
Okay, we have a meeting every Wednesday and we have personal development.
Yep.
Okay,
with the team.
With the team.
Yep.
Without fail. We
Like
want to know what the
upskill.
wins.
Yeah,
Yes, we
yeah.
want to know at our morning meetings on Monday what your wins are for the week. Everything like that. We're a team. There's no I.
Yeah.
I don't look at myself, okay, I'm the business owner or I'm better than anyone. It's not like that. I run around with runners on, jeans, and in the rain.
Well, we've got a duty as well, right? If you've got a junior that you brought in, it's your duty, it's their career. Like
It is.
you want to be there
It
to
is.
mentor them and coach them
Yeah.
and bring them up and to have the confidence that when
Yeah.
they're helping your landlords, that they're delivering the same experience that it would be as if they got Suzanne.
Correct, yeah. And I want them to be happy. If the staff are happy, then everyone's happy.
Yep.
And we treat our tenants just like we treat the landlords because at the end of the day, your tenant is your business. Okay, your tenant.
They're not the enemy.
You have a good tenant, your business is running like clockwork.
Fair. And do you think that maybe other property management companies out there are missing that? Like they're not treating the tenant.
They're not.
Like
They're
it's
not.
like, well, it's them against us as opposed
Correct.
to same team here. We're just all involved with this property.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like, look, I've worked for other agencies. I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I do see that tenants aren't respected. And that really saddens me. Just because you're renting doesn't mean you're not as good as the person who owns the property next door. Everyone's
Yeah,
equal.
100%.
Everyone
That's
is
crazy
equal.
that people think that way.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. You're a tenant, you'll listen to me. No,
Like,
it's
I am
wrong.
the mighty landlord
That's
and
right.
you will, yeah.
Yeah. Not the landlord so much, the property manager.
Oh, okay.
The
More
property,
the property
manager. Yeah. If you have that bond, that great friendship with your property manager and the tenant, you won't have problem.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? You want your tenant to hang around
do.
and to stay on
You
indefinitely
do.
for your landlord.
Because it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Let's
Thank
move
you.
on. I've got a little comment here that you don't know about. So this is off script.
Wow. Okay.
I know you've got a Croatian background.
Yeah.
Is it the Eastern European Balkan blood that has allowed you to build such a great property management business?
100%. 100%. Yep. Yeah. I'm a bit of a control freak. And I'm a little bit not hot-headed, but I'm passionate is the
I think
word.
you're on it. And,
yeah.
and I can share a real example. I remember with my place down the Gold Coast when you were renting it, we were having not trouble renting it, but the market was at an interesting time and there wasn't as much prospects as we'd like.
Yeah.
And you're like, George, I'm going to open that house up every second day for you and get the thing
was.
rented. And I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever, Suzana. And you did.
I did.
remember
I did.
Wednesday, Friday, bloody...
I was there on a Sunday afternoon. I
Yeah.
thought, okay, how can I make this happen? You've got to open the doors, get tenants in, and that's what I do. If I haven't leased a property in a strong market within a certain period, I put that much pressure on myself, George, that it's actually crazy.
You know what? That was a real eye-opener for me. And
Yeah.
that makes it so easy to refer your business because,
Yeah.
Suzana will get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like
really
gone
cool.
are the days. It really frustrates me where I see, okay, you put on realestate.com, okay, and you just wait for tenants to come through.
Yeah.
Okay. There goes 1 week. There goes another week. You know, that's 2 weeks a landlord has lost money. And why? Because
It's not
you
proactive.
can't wait. You
Yeah.
have to be proactive.
Yeah.
Why is it not renting? Is it the photos? Is it too expensive? That is the job of the BDM or the property manager or whoever you've got in your business. And that's my job in my business.
All right, let's jump on to the next point. What tips do you have for landlords to help them out? So let's identify bad property management from a good one.
Okay,
You
the
see
first-
this every day of the week, right?
Okay, the first thing, if you're a landlord, would be when you're ringing around trying to find who's going to manage your property,
Yep.
do not ask, what are your management fees? That's what they tend to do.
Straight off the bat.
First thing
Yeah.
is because you pay for what you get.
Yep.
All right? The less the management, the less service you're going to get.
Yep.
Okay? It's a no-brainer. All right? So first thing, cut that question out as a landlord.
Do you find people ask that all the time as a
All the
first
time.
question? I
Yep.
guess it's
Straight away.
it's no different to in our space. Not how many Google reviews do you have, how long you've been in business, what experience do you have, it's what do you cost?
Yep.
Yes, same thing. There's people that are price driven and then there's people that are results driven.
Correct. Yeah.
And yeah, they're very different. If you want cheap and nasty, then you can't really expect much more than a cheap and nasty
Yeah,
service.
100%. So the next question the landlord should be asking is how many properties a property manager is managing in
Yep.
their portfolio?
Yep.
That is the second question. And then what are their arrears at? Are tenants paying on time? Is your arrears at 6%? Is it at 1%? You know, if it's at 6%, you're in trouble. That means your property managers.
Oh, so that's a stat that is like looked at, is it? Yeah, okay.
100%.
Yep.
What is your arrears at? That will determine where your business is situated and is it running tight.
Can I ask this question? Because I don't have much experience in this. Are we talking arrears as in like locate properties portfolio, how many tenants are behind in rent as a group? So you have a stat going where X% behind.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, cool. So that is a question that a landlord should ask.
Yes,
okay.
100%.
See, I didn't know this.
If you got 5%, 6% within the portfolio and the business,
yep,
that's a lot of tenants in arrears.
Yep.
That's not good.
So what's a good number? Well, obviously none, but that's not realistic.
Anything under 1%, you're laughing.
Okay, great.
Like I personally think that's fantastic.
Yep.
All right, that means you've got, you're on point.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're saying if it's like, say, 5%, that's pretty
you're
garbage.
In trouble. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
You're in trouble.
So, all right, I'm a landlord and I've come across this podcast and I'm listening. So we've got that arrears amount, obviously not leading with price. What else? Is there anything else that springs to mind, or are they the main points you reckon?
And how many properties each property manager?
Yeah, okay, let's talk about that a bit more. Is there a standard, or is there
Everyone's different because you might have a property manager and then she might have an assistant,
or
you might just have a property manager that's looking after 150, 180 properties.
Do you have a sweet spot or not?
I do. We do have a certain number that each property manager looks after.
Cool. So you've got actual KPIs.
100%.
And that's obviously part of your secret sauce with scaling your business, right? Going, all right, one property manager to X amount of people,
correct,
but nothing crazy like 150.
No.
Because that's impossible. It'd be like, in our conveyancing here, we do anywhere between 20 to 30 is pretty normal per conveyancer per month.
Yep.
So they're handling 20 to 30 settlements a month. When you consider we've got 20 business days in a month, we're talking 1 and a bit per day.
Yeah.
There's firms out there, I'm not joking, they're doing anywhere between 60 and 80 deals per person per month.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
You think about that, that's like up to 4 times the volume. If you are engaging these people, good luck getting them on the phone, good luck getting a response fast. You probably could even miss deadlines. So it's the same thing, right? The more time your property managers have, the more genuine care and value they can add to the landlord and the tenant. The whole experience is better because they're available.
Another thing I noticed as well is when I was working with other companies, you get the receptionist. Okay, the receptionist then gives the property manager the message or sends them an email. As a landlord, if you're frustrated, if you want to talk to someone,
of course you do.
Want to talk to your property manager, we've actually got mobiles.
Yeah, well, shout out to Tammy. This is real. This isn't made up. So Tammy works with Suzana.
Mobiles. Okay,
and I text her if I need something.
You can call them directly. Yep. There's nothing worse.
Great.
How frustrating that you can't get a hold of your property manager.
Look, it's one of those things. For me, the property, not much goes wrong, but there's been instances with like something went wrong with the pool. And I remember the pool company had called me and then I just got Tammy involved and it was sorted. It was great.
Yeah.
It was nice and easy.
Again, I got CC'd in.
Yeah, of course.
So I know again, yes, my portfolio's, it's a good portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay, but I still know if there's situations that, I get CC'd in.
Okay, so they're the main questions you're asking as a landlord. That's the main tips. Okay, cool. Let's move on. You represent a lot of landlords with multiple properties. Is it easier or harder to manage them than, say, just a mum and dad investor? And I know you haven't prepped for this, so you've got your guys with heaps of properties and you've got your mums and dads. Do you have a preference?
I've got a lot of people in my portfolio that have got whole buildings.
Yeah, wow.
Okay. I think it's a much of muchness.
Yep.
There's a lot of first-time investors that I need to hold their hand to get to the finishing line.
Yes.
That they don't, it's daunting.
But that's not a bad thing, right?
It's
If they get a good experience, like say they manage to get to your company, they're going to have a good experience with that handhold. Whereas if they're in, say, another place, maybe one of these bargain bin mobs that are charging cheap percentage, I don't think that experience could be compared. It wouldn't be a good experience for these people.
No, and they're actually, a lot of them don't even know, George, that I'm the owner. I never tell them.
There you go. How crazy is that? Yeah,
I
you're
never
like
tell them, hi, I'm Suzana.
Undercover. Yeah, they just think you're Suzana. They don't know it's your business.
Come on, guys, come on through.
Yeah.
This is the open home. They've got no idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I still speak to every one of them. What do you do for work? Where are you looking? When do you want to move? Okay, and then I get to know them, and then I put them in my notes. And if they put the application in, then I speak to my staff and go, okay, this one's really good. I really like their energy. everything like that.
But I think it's actually what you've just explained there. I think that's
I'm
your
undercover.
secret sauce.
I'm undercover.
Like, that is your secret sauce.
Undercover.
You're not just someone... Take the mask off. No, you're not just someone that's like, yeah, the house is open, put your applications in. You actually genuinely care. Those questions you were asking, like, have you just moved to the area? How long have you been looking? All those questions, you're building real relationships with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
really
I've had
cool.
a lot of clients follow me, from 7-8 years ago. They're all following me.
Yep.
A lot of them are just hearing now, hey, Suzana's opened up Locate.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If you went crazy on socials, I reckon you wouldn't even know how to keep up with the business when they find out where you are.
Yes.
All right, my last question for you is focused on tenants. How can you stand out from the crowd and have a better chance to win a rental property as a tenant?
Okay, first thing is put your whole application in. Don't miss bits and pieces. So if there's one of you applying, make sure everything's in. Everything that the app's asking you, put it all in. Don't wait, or else we've got to chase...
So are we talking about, like, say, the form where you're filling in all your details? Mm-hmm. You're telling me that there's people that don't fill the whole form out?
They don't fill it out. The next thing is, if you're moving from another agency, call them and say, look, I found a place. They obviously know that you're moving. Please, can you get the ledger to them? They'll be calling you soon, because we spend probably 2 to 3 days sometimes, and we like to get things done very quickly.
Yes.
Okay. And we're constantly calling other agencies. Please, can we have the ledger? Can we have a look?
Slows the whole process down, hey?
Completely. So if the tenant rings themselves and say, look, it's quite important, it's urgent.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just for people that are listening that maybe don't have much exposure as a tenant, this ledger we're talking about, are we talking their existing tenancy?
If they've got an existing,
Yeah, and this is if they're paid up to date, if they're like a delinquent tenant.
Correct.
So it's like almost like a little bit of a CV history on their rental, right? That's what we're talking about? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right. So making sure you've got that ready, filling out the whole application. What else sets tenants apart when you meet them and see them that gives them the edge over another person to win the property?
When they say to me, okay, I'm doing an open home, and they said, look, when I start speaking to them and they say, look, I would treat this like my own property.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
I love that. I love that. I get to know as well if they've moved. I like to help a lot of people that have moved from interstate.
Yep.
A lot of single mothers as well.
Yeah,
Give them a chance.
Yep.
Give them a chance. Just because they're single mums doesn't mean they can't afford a property.
Yeah.
I'm a single mother.
Yep.
And I can afford a property.
Yep.
Don't judge.
Yeah, it's a whole another conversation, isn't it?
Let's not even go there. Don't even get me started. Yes, I like to look at everybody as equal.
Yeah, and then you obviously feed that back to your landlords.
Correct.
Because it's not always, things aren't always as they seem, right? Someone may look like on paper an amazing candidate, but then if you meet them at the open home, there may be some red flags that pop up.
You can copy and paste now someone's bank statements with AI. Seriously, some of the things we see in applications, it just blows your mind.
What, like dodgy stuff or like written by AI,
and
like all sorts of crazy
stuff. A lot
stuff.
of things, they don't realise a lot of property managers now are checking social media.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if you've got an open social media page and you're up to no good, then it might be found, and that could stop you from having your best foot forward as a tenant. Okay. Anything else spring to mind, or you reckon as a tenant they're your main things to look out for to set them apart? Yep. They're the main things. Okay, cool. Well, fill out your applications, guys, properly.
Yeah, fill them out properly, because we're constantly chasing, okay, you've left this bit out or this or,
And look, I'm just going to go out on a whim here. Surely the ones that say come through your property, you meet them, if they're a bit more personable and they take the time to talk to you and you're sort of scoping them out there, they've got a better chance, right? Like, I don't know if that's true, but I'm thinking if it was me, I'd want to make friends with you so that you remember George when you're presenting to your landlord going, oh, that George guy was good.
They don't know. They think I'm the leasing girl, which is great.
Yeah,
and I want them to know that.
Yeah.
And they're just so open and transparent with me.
Nice.
Like, if someone's going through a horrible divorce, some people just want some help. With, the economy the way it is, the cost of living, there's a lot of people, George, that need help.
You'd see the
just
saddest stories. Because your boots on the ground, you're seeing it. Like, I've split from my partner, I'm going through a divorce, I need somewhere to live.
No one's giving me a chance.
I've got nowhere to live. I've got to be close to my kids' school.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so just be a human being, right? I think that comes a long way, is build a relationship, and they could be the undercover director of the business that is one of the decision makers.
White runners, jeans, and opening all the houses and talking to everyone. I love it.
Yep.
When you love what you do, you're passionate and it comes from within.
Yeah, that's just so true. You care about the people that you're interacting with. And I think, like we've established here, not only the landlords, you're also there for the tenants too, because everyone can actually achieve a great result.
You know, like I had something happen to me last year. As a lot of people know, I lost both parents, and a lot of my landlords sent me flowers. A lot of my landlords sent me, messages, and it was just so warm, George. It was warm.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That they do actually care because
To become a part of your life.
That's right, and you care about them.
Yeah. Well, we've become mates off the back of a business relationship, haven't we?
We
yeah.
have, 100%.
Yep. All right, my last thing for you is, how have you maintained a 5-star Google rating in the property management space, understanding how difficult that is with burnout, disgruntled tenants, possibly disgruntled landlords? It almost feels like a unicorn. How do you have a 5-star review, knock on wood, for your property management business? Honestly, that's amazing in that space, because it's a tricky area to practice in. Yeah.
We just, every day we get up, some days you're exhausted and you're mentally drained, but you go, okay, how can I be the best version of myself? How can I have this business the best there is? And then when you give from within and you give everything you have, hopefully that result will filter over to my landlords, to my tenants, to everybody I'm working with.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get reciprocated. It's a 50-50, isn't it, with Google reviews?
Oh, look, it's one of those things where
I shit myself sometimes. One came in this morning to go, oh my God, please let it be a good one.
But look, I think deep down you're doing a good job and it's going to be good. And if not, there's got to be a crazy reason for it.
We've left one on there.
You're out there doing good work. You should be getting good reviews.
Thank you.
But the proof's in the pudding, because you do. You've got only 5-star reviews. You've got a great business.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
Yeah, I just find that an
work.
amazing feat that you've achieved that. But I know we often share, call them war stories, call them conversations, whatever. Where you're running around like crazy. Like I know where you're going after Ripley or something. Going out to Ripley after this.
I'm doing appraisals, and then I've got Ripley as well this afternoon. Then I've got to go from Ripley to Shayla Park.
Yeah, see, so that's one end of town to the other, and it's crazy rain, and that's the reality of the property management space, right? It may not be as sexy as what you see on Instagram. No. It's what you got to do. You're going from one side of town to the other.
I've got a run sheet. So I start at 8:30. Then at 9 o'clock I do this. Then I pick up the keys from this agency because it's a takeover. If I don't have a run sheet, I don't even know where I am half the day.
Yeah, well, you've got to be efficient, right?
You have to be efficient.
I don't know how these 200 property manager people survive. That's why they burn out and leave. That's got to be why they burn out and leave.
They're exhausted.
Yeah.
And no one's hearing them.
Yeah.
Property managers have got such a hard job.
I totally agree.
It is so hard.
I think they should get paid more money for what they do.
They're not being heard, and that's what upsets me. They're not being heard. Okay, I've got goosebumps because it is stressful, it's hard, it's draining, it's emotional. Your headspace some days is challenging.
It would be.
When
getting
I
abused
see that they're
sometimes
upset,
for no good reason.
Yeah, and if they're crying or they're upset, it's not wipe your tears and just move on. Listen. They want to be heard.
Yeah, maybe the culture needs a bit of a reform. Even like I heard recently, a property manager getting bloody chased by a dog. Surely there's got to be a better process for that, so that managers aren't getting mauled by animals when they're trying to go do their job.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got one very last thing for you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So again, another thing, we're flying blind, but I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. So this question is a unique question that we ask everybody at the end. We're here to raise the bar, and I want to get one golden nugget for you, and you can have a few seconds to think. Just for whoever may be listening to this podcast about landlords, property managers, tenants, it doesn't have to be related to that, just generally. What's just one golden nugget piece of advice that you would love to share to whoever may be listening that could help them out? And you can have a few seconds to think. I don't expect you to pull this answer out straight away.
So in what way?
It can be professionally, it can be personally, it can be property management related. Like, what's popping up in your head as something that's just such a good piece of advice you'd like to give out to whoever might be listening?
Okay.
And I'll leave it totally at your discretion as to how you answer.
Okay. Obviously, I'm in investment because I look after a lot of investors' property, investments. The first thing is, if you're a landlord, surround yourself or find yourself a property manager that specialises in property management. Okay? I just feel there's a lot of boutique agencies that just specialise in it.
Yeah, not a sales agency that has a property management arm. You're saying go for someone that's a specialist.
We're going into sales as well, but our main focus is property management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how you identify the business, right? You're a property management business.
There's a lot of new investors coming through the market. Okay? Find someone that's passionate, that knows, that's experienced. that's experienced and is not going to bring on your property and then you don't hear from them. Because a lot of them don't know the compliance or what they got to do. They bought this property and then they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
it's sad.
That's let's say scary, but it's also
it's very
sad.
scary.
Yeah, it's both.
You know, you're giving your investment, your baby, to someone to look after, and you want to know it's in good hands.
And guys, back that up with Google reviews, right? That's another thing that I'm so passionate about is, like, say they do look up a property management specific agency and then there's locate with however many Google reviews you got with a 5-star average. That's more attractive than someone with a low amount. And that's social proof. That proof's in the pudding from real life people that have left you that review.
Like, I know people that have got 500, 600, 700 reviews. You know what I mean? And I know people that are paying, you know, giving them gift voucher.
Per review or whatever. Yeah.
You know, people that do reviews do it because they want to do them.
Yep.
You don't have to chase them. They want to do it.
They just happen. Yeah. I'd challenge that comment you said about the people that are paying for the reviews.
Yeah.
I bet you anything they don't have a 5-star average, because if you're paying for reviews, there's bad reviews in there and they're paying to try and get it up.
Yeah.
Touch wood, we've got a 5-star average and we've got thousands of reviews, but that's 7.5 years of asking every client every time, and we don't pay for them and they're all real. But it took years to achieve that.
Oh, it takes, I mean, I'm only up to, 100 and something, but they're legit.
Yeah,
they're
that's it.
actually people that, not saying that the others aren't, okay, but yeah, Google reviews, I hope I'm not going to get any bad now.
No, don't worry. We're sending good energy out there. You do good work and you'll get good reviews, and that's it.
Thank you.
Well, I reckon we wrap it up there, guys. Obviously, if you're a landlord out there and you're looking for a change, chat to Suzana. If you're a tenant and you're maybe looking for a place, maybe Suzana can help.
Yes, I help a lot of tenants. Yep. A lot. My private, messenger, he's got a lot. Yes.
Slide into her DMs.
Yes.
But thanks, guys. Obviously, if you've got any questions off the back of this, you can reach out to me. All the info will be in the bio and we will go from there. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Suzana.
Thanks. Thank you.
Ta-da.